Because of the following special program, Wonder Woman and the Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file. This is Making Tracks. Here are your hosts, Mark Newbold and Dave Tree.
That's not true. That's impossible.
You're listening to Making Tracks. I'm your host Mark Newbold, and this is a very special episode recorded at Capital Sci-Fi a couple of weeks ago up in Edinburgh. This is Fantha Tracker Andy hosting a talk with Warwick Davis. It was actually called the Harry Potter Talk. As you'll hear, Warwick pretty quickly moves on to Star Wars and non-Potter topics. So this is Andy chatting with Warwick at Capital Sci-Fi.
Okay, welcome to the Harry Potter panel. Is everyone having a great Capital Sci-Fi Con so far? Yeah! Nice, I'm sure you can be louder than that when we introduce our special guests. So please give a massive Hogwarts welcome to Warwick and Annabelle Davis.
Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? This is all very official, isn't it? We're sat behind a table. I think
There's lights and everything.
It feels like I'm hidden behind this water bottle at the moment. How are you all? Nice to see you. Thank you for being here and being so patient while I kind of walked in early and then walked out again, didn't I? But good. I'll hand over to you because you're the host of this.
Yeah, it's difficult for you not to slip into that role.
I do a little bit. I know. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Feel free to take over at any point. That's fine.
I will.
If we can start with, I guess, your introduction to the world of Harry Potter and how you both got involved with the films.
Oh, this is a Harry Potter panel, isn't it? Yes, of course. It could be anything you...
We can move around a little bit.
It could be anything you want it to be, guys, okay? So you'll dictate this with your questions, I'm sure, where we go with this. But we can start with Harry Potter, of course.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, what was the question?
Just your first involvement with Harry Potter.
My first involvement was my agent ringing up and saying they'd like to meet you for this character of Professor Flitwick in the Harry Potter film. And of course it was big news at that point because the books were hugely successful and the fact they were now making a movie, it was exciting. So I was really thrilled to be asked to go up, and I went in, I quickly bought the book because I'm not a real avid reader of fiction, and so I hadn't read the book. So I quickly bought a copy of it and flicked through to find any references to Flitwick, and was able to read the scene in the classroom where he teaches Wingardium Leviosa and got little bits from that weren't in the pages of script that they sent me. So combined the two things, came up with some ideas, went into the audition, played the scene with Chris Columbus, the director, and just had a bit of fun. We actually improvised quite a lot as well. Beyond what you see in the film, we just carried on doing the scene. And there was lots of laughter in the room, and I left and didn't hear anything for quite a while. It was about 3 weeks, I think. And it's a difficult time for an actor when you're waiting to hear whether you got the part. And my agent phoned up and he said, you know that audition you went for Harry Potter, they'd love you to play Flitwick. So I was delighted, of course. And he said, well, hold on there, that's not it. They'd also like you to play a goblin in Gringotts, the goblin bank teller. And I was very pleased. So it's not often you get the part when you audition, but then you get two parts. That's an absolute bonus. And then the rest is history. I just went on year playing the same or additional characters in the films, and it was a delight. Annabelle's story is a little bit different.
Well, I sort of grew up with Harry Potter because of Dad, obviously. I would visit the set. I was there quite a lot of birthdays.
You spent 3 birthdays on the set.
Yeah.
One of them was in the Great Hall. We were doing a scene. When were you? You were 13, weren't you?
13.
Yeah, and we were doing a scene in the Great Hall, and Annabelle came down after school. And
no, I was there. It was the only Saturday you ever filmed.
Oh, it was the only Saturday ever. It
No, I
happened
was
to be on
there
your
all
birthday.
day.
So they felt a bit bad. So everybody in the Great Hall sang Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
Including, what was the most bizarre sight for me was Alan Rickman in full snake garb singing Happy Birthday to You, and it was quite the most bizarre
12 because they edited.
They filmed it, and I don't know whether those golden boards are actually on one of the
they're on the
DVDs.
extras, yeah.
So if you look on the extras of the DVDs, there's a whole sequence of golden clapper boards, different people holding
Did you
them.
do one on your Segway?
I did one on my Segway, and Annabelle's birthday is also on there, and you might be able to catch Alan singing that. So yeah, you got involved by being around, hanging around.
Yeah, I was there a lot. I'd often just go and see Dad de-rig and they'd stick like a cut on me or something, which was quite fun. And then it was when it was the big goblin thing where there was like they needed 60 little people, and then Dad put in a good word for me and Harrison, and we got in that.
So that's on Deathly Hallows Part 2. The first time you see Gringotts, you'll see two little goblins walking across.
Me and Harrison.
With a cart full of
Harrison's
gold.
only 6.
He's only 6, and the goblin feet are supposed to be big, so the shoes are like this long. Harrison's feet were this big. He was able to wear his own shoes inside the shoe of the goblin. He was not happy.
His foot was like longer than his leg.
Yeah, he was not happy. He was not happy. So that's how you got involved, didn't you?
Yeah.
After all those years, eventually you got in there. And if you go to the studio tour, Annabelle and Harrison's slip-over masks are on display there as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
You're in the museum.
Pretty cool.
Good. So that's how we got started.
Excellent. And was that your first film role, Annabelle?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And what age were you?
I was 12.
12. So almost similar age to you when you started in the film industry.
I was 11 when I started. Yeah, I was 11. So yeah, similar age, I suppose. Yeah.
It's wonderful that you've had the opportunity to pass that on as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, Annabelle's an actor in her own right. Are you allowed to say? See, this is the thing that puzzles me, right? There's actor and actress. At one point, we weren't allowed to say actress anymore, but then I'm watching the BAFTAs, Best Supporting Actress and all this, and they're saying actress again. Are you allowed to say actress?
I don't know. Yeah.
But there was a move that you weren't.
Yeah,
though,
there was a period where.
So what are you?
I don't. Whatever. I don't want.
She's a whatever. She's a whatever. Okay, good. No, but she's been whatevering for a number of years.
Yeah.
And she's a very, very good whateverer.
Oh, she is.
Thank you. You're very good at that.
Whatever else.
But she does it in her own right because she's in the dumping ground.
Yeah.
Which is does anyone watch CBC? Yeah, you know the dumping ground. So she's Sasha. You tell them I'm Bill. I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm
I'm her PR. Very good. And Annabelle's done some Star Wars stuff, but we'll do Star Wars in a minute. I shouldn't have mentioned that. We're in Harry Potter mode.
We'll do Harry Potter.
Okay, let's keep with Harry Potter.
How many characters did you play?
In what, Harry Potter? Well, there's a couple that you don't notice. There's this guy, we called him Patchcock Welt. I don't think that's an official name.
Oh, he's in the elevator.
He's in the elevator in the Ministry of Magic, and you see him also walking through when Harry first comes into the Ministry. So that was another.
He looks a bit like Griphook's cousin.
Well, they're all related, aren't they? Obviously, there's a lot of interbreeding goes on within the goblins. Well, there's no lady goblins. I think they must be asexual, aren't they? And they do that thing that frogs do, where they change sex.
No. I was a lady goblin.
What's that?
I was a lady.
You were a lady goblin. You're only one.
100%. Well, now I was.
Well, my wife was a goblin as well, but I don't think she wasn't very attractive.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
She was very unattractive.
They don't have like feminine faces.
Not at all. I mean, they are ugly. I mean, I'm surprised there's any more goblins at all.
I think there's a few in cosplay. Oh no, sorry, I'm sorry, sir. So you just mentioned you played multiple characters, obviously, in the films.
Yep.
Were there any days where you had to play multiple characters in the same day?
Well, they tried to avoid it because the makeups are so long, you know, the 3.5 to 4 hour makeups. So to sort of strip one off, which takes about an hour or so, and reapply, you've kind of almost used an entire day, because you've also had the 3.5, 4 hours to put the first one on, so it wasn't practical. But we did it consecutive days, so sometimes I would be Flitwick one day and Griphook the next day. And it was quite funny, because people would talk to me like I hadn't been at work the day before, you know, and the crew, they'd go, hey, what are you doing? I was here yesterday, you know, they didn't sort of associate me with both things. And especially as Griphook, they don't talk to you either, because if I just relaxed my face, he looked quite sort of annoyed. So if I was just sitting around on set, it would look like I was really annoyed and like, don't talk to me. So it was a little bit lonely. I was a lonely goblin. Yeah, and but Flitwick, of course, he's a bit more friendly looking, isn't he? You see, so people tend to talk to you.
Feeling a bit more empathy towards Griphook now.
I know, what do you do? I mean, I think he's misunderstood, to be honest. You know, he's greedy, but he's just a greedy bastard. Okay. What's the question? What?
Well, we were talking about multiple characters. I was going to also
Yes.
ask about Professor Flitwick and his change of appearance. And
Yeah, no, I wish this would be published because it's a boring story.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll just quickly tell you. If I
Talk about Star Wars instead if you
It's a really boring, and people go, but you are intrigued to know. I know you are, and people are. He is. So what happened was, 1 and 2 was the old geezer, yeah, Professor Flitwick. Then what happened, number 3, when the script came out, there was no mention of Professor Flitwick, nothing in there. And the producer actually phoned me up, David Heyman, and he said, Warwick, there's nothing in this for you. And I said, I know, I've only just got over it, now you reminded me. And he said, well, we'd love to have you involved though, because we like having you around. Would you consider playing another character? And I said, well, yeah, sure, what are you thinking? And he said, well, we need this choir conductor. Come in, meet with Nick Dudman, who's the makeup effects supervisor, and we'll have a chat about what he could look like. So I went in, and we came up with this sort of, it was like this, I think it was described at the time as like a Himmler type of a look. So, and that's kind of what we end up with, a kind of quirky haircut and everything. And, you know, believe it or not, that character's still involved, it's like a 3-hour makeup. Because the only bit that's me is the chin. The rest of it is all fake, the ears, the nose, everything else is prosthetics. And then I came in and I did for Prisoner of Azkaban, I did the conducting of the Frog Choir. And then when we came to do number 4, Flitwick was back in the script. Turned up on the first day, sat in a makeup chair, they started putting the makeup on of the choir conductor. And I said, oh, hang on a minute, I'm doing Flitwick. And I said, no, we've been asked to put you in this. So I walked onto set and I said to the director, who am I? And he said, you're Professor Flitwick. I said, well, I look different. He said, well, that's how you look from now on. And that was it. I mean, it literally, whether it was a mistake or whether they had plans, but for me, it was a lot easier. That makeup was a lot quicker to put on, a lot lighter. And the character he could be more sprightly because he wasn't as old as the other guy. But I don't know whether I look at them as the same person or they're just relatives somehow, you know? The younger guy maybe isn't the guy that does Wingardium Leviosa, maybe they're different people. Well, that's up to you to decide.
In the wizarding world, there's multiple reasons why magic.
Maybe he had a special potion, a rejuvenating potion.
Yeah.
Something, yeah. Good. Have we covered Harry Potter?
Yeah, I think so. Well, what we'll also do is...
Well, they can ask a question.
Yeah, we'll take some questions from the audience.
Sorry, this is making lots of noise. Yeah, that's better.
We've got a couple of mics around. Okay, has anyone got a question straight away?
I've got a question about these. Are these specially made just for the convention? Because they're like cosplay water bottles, aren't they? They're dressed up for the occasion.
They're so cool.
Are they like Pokemons or something, Annabelle? Oh, no, there's a yellow one. What?
All donated.
They're all donated.
They're donated, are they?
Yeah.
They're really cool.
Yeah. Too good to drink. Okay.
What's your question?
How many times do you have to say swish and flick?
You want me to say it?
How many times?
Oh, how many times have you said it? Oh, I don't know. I mean, we did that scene, obviously, you know, you repeat it from various different angles and what have you. So I had to do let's do charms class now, yeah? Okay. Well, have your wands? Yes? And have you been practicing the swish and flick? Swish, come on, show me. The swish and flick. Come along, everyone. Swish and flick. Get in touch with you there, looking at your young man. You're not even doing it. Come along, swish and flick. And the Wingardium Leviosa. Ready? Wingardium Leviosa. And again, Wingardium Leviosa. Splendid. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yes. I had to say it a few times. Yes, I had to say it a few times. Now, swish and flick. Yeah, kind of fed up with it actually, to be honest, because people, I mean, they heckle me in the street, you know, I swish and flick! It's kind of annoying. But before that it was Yum Num, so I mean it's kind of moved on. And now they just shout, oh, you're terrible at Tenable. And I don't know whether that's a review of the programme or they're just quoting the catchphrase. See, that's one thing, don't ever make a catchphrase that could be a review of the show. Yeah. That's the lesson I've learned.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so make it something positive in future, which I will do.
Any other questions from the audience?
Oh, great. We've really inspired this guy. Are you awake?
Okay, while they're thinking, we'll talk a bit about Star Wars.
I think half of them can't see me, that's the problem. You know what I mean? It's not a raked. It's not a raked auditorium, is it? You see? So I'm down here. They can just hear a voice. It's a nice voice, but that's all they can hear. They can see you talking to nobody. Okay, so what are we moving on to now? What are we doing now? We're doing three voices now. So, shall I sit on the back of the chair? Will that help? Should we do that?
I'll see you do it first.
Well, no, just like this. There.
What?
Hello. The guy at the back's like, I want to Q&A with Warwick Davis. I thought it was Peter Capaldi. Okay. Right, so actually, this is too scary. No, I'm joking, it's alright, I love you guys. Right, let's do the next thing. Come on, carry on.
Fantatrax.
Let's do a bit of Star Wars then.
Okay.
So, obviously, like I mentioned before, you got the part of Wicked Ewok at the age of 11.
11, yeah, that's right, yeah.
How did that come about?
My grandmother hearing a radio commercial in which they were looking for short people to be in the new Star Wars movie they were making in London. She told my mum. Mum phoned the studio. They said, we've got everyone we need. And I don't know how she persuaded them. She told them I was a big fan of Star Wars and how tall I was. And obviously I was 11. I think they said, we could have like a younger Ewok maybe, because these are obviously sort of families and stuff. And so I went in, I met with a production assistant, just a secretary. She didn't audition me. She said, do you like Star Wars? And she said, do you want to play an Ewok? And I said, what's one of those? And she said, well, go down to the costume department and you'll find out. And that was it. I went, got measured up, and 2 weeks later, I was on the set. Simple.
I think the wonderful thing about your journey as well is because you were a fan of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
You came,
I loved it. So walking onto the set the first day, it was completely. My mind was blown. Honestly, it was. I'm looking at people like Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, but I'm seeing Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker. I couldn't differentiate them from their characters and would talk to them as if they were the characters.
Yeah.
I was like, hey Han, let's have a look at your blaster.
To be fair, I think if I met them today, I would talk to them as if they were the characters.
So it was, for me, it was really great. And I think they quite enjoyed it because I was like the youngest person on the set. And normally you don't wander over to the lead actors and have a chat, but I didn't understand the sort of etiquette of the production. And just kind of, just wandered around chatting to anybody I felt like chatting to, and I had a great time on the film. Honestly, it was really fun. Yeah,
and it's great because with that knowledge of coming as a fan, so when you attend events like this and you see all the fans.
Well, I understand it. Yeah, from their perspective. I never dressed up. I only dress up when I'm getting paid. So cosplaying is not my favourite hobby now. Well, actually, we do a bit of it though, didn't we? Because a few years ago we had an event for our charity.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Like last year, and we dressed up as the Scooby-Dooby gang. Yeah. The Scooby gang. Yeah, we were. I was Fred, obviously, because he's the good-looking one.
I was Velma.
She was Velma, the geeky one. Then Harrison was Shaggy.
Yeah.
And Mum was Daphne, obviously. So we did a bit of cosplay.
I mean, we did look good.
We did look good. There's pictures on the internet if you wish to look at them. What am I talking about? Oh yeah. I can relate to these people.
That's the only part.
Yeah. Now I do like to be able to still relate to members of the general public. I think it's important. When you've risen to the heights that I have, I think it's important to stay in touch with the everyman. Obviously keep them at a safe distance, but do stay like this behind a table. Stay in touch with them.
I can't help noticing that you're literally looking down on me now.
No, I'm not being. Seriously, I'm joking when I say that. I am joking. I mean, they have been security screened this lot as well. There is a metal detector out there. You all went through it, didn't you? Yeah. Sorry,
Annabelle, is there anything that you were particularly a fan of that you then, were you a Star Wars fan?
Yeah, I mean, I watched. I remember going to the Revenge of the Sith premiere. That was pretty cool. And I did like Star Wars. I had loads of action figures. I like the toys a lot. I like the film, but it was all about the toys for me. Because we come to these conventions all the time, and I just sat at the table with all the vehicles and stuff. And
you used to buy a lot of stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, loads. And it was amazing. When I was on episode 7, it was just really surreal, because obviously I knew that Dad had grown up and worked on them. I was like, oh my god. And I never thought it would come back. I was so grateful. In my world, Star Wars and Harry Potter are the two biggest things in the world. And when I did Harry Potter, I was like, oh my god, that's insane. I've done one of the two. And then when Star Wars came back, I was like, no way.
The weird thing is, Annabelle got the part in Force Awakens before I'd been offered a part, and I was really annoyed. I was like, how did this happen?
Tried to come in.
I said, I'll give you a lift to the studio, and I kind of loitered around, didn't I?
Yeah. They were like, oh, hi, Warwick.
Hi Warwick, see you later. So I drove home again, and eventually they called, didn't they? But
Yeah.
I was trying to weasel my way. I was a bit upset.
But it was cool, because we got to be on set together at the same time.
Yeah, we did. But initially, though, she'd come home and go, "Oh, JJ was really cool today, didn't
Yeah.
he? Did you mention that you're my daughter?" Well, no. No, we worked together on not on that one.
On Solo, well, we were in the
You were in the
same
same
team.
environment, weren't we? But we worked
In
together
Solo.
on Solo a lot.
Yeah.
On Solo, I played multiple different characters, I think about 7. And there were times, they hadn't realised this when they were sort of creating the characters, that sometimes 3 would appear in the same scene. And so then, fortunately, Annabelle is a similar height to me, and she was able to fit in the costumes, and then I could just quickly talk her through how it worked, and she could then double for me. So there's times when I had to be somebody else who could be what I was being. That happened a lot, didn't it? Even as far as like Weasel when he's riding the skiff bikes and stuff. You know, Annabelle would be doing second unit effect stuff while I was doing some stuff, reshoots around the Sabat table or in the droid control room or whatever. So it was quite good. It worked out well, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then we did some stuff on Last Jedi together at the casino. We were there for quite a while.
Oh yeah, we were in that.
Those 3 smiley
Like
gamblers. Yeah. And what else? What's the other one? Rogue One. You weren't in that one, were you?
No, I did that test with you, but...
Yeah, we did. We never talked about this, have we, before?
We did
can talk about this,
whole
right? We're doing some sort of... where they kind of do test shots and sort of finding their feet with stuff. We did a whole day as these 2 characters in like a rainy village. And and Felicity comes along, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And like tries to...
There was some sort of chat.
There was a lot of chat, and we were in these heads. But it was the way that Gareth Edwards works. He kind of gets you so into the moment you actually think you're there. He does it kind of you forget you're on a film set. And we were like in these heads for 5 hours. I forgot I was on planet Earth in the end. I mean, seriously, I was like delirious. I was like, get me out of this head. I was like, Annabelle, how are you?
We walked onto set. Normally you get headed up when you're there. But we got headed up in the easy up and then walked like 5 minutes to the set.
And it was really dark.
You had no idea where you were really, and it was raining really heavy.
We could have been on the planet in reality. We didn't know where we were. And then they started doing this over and over and over.
And I had a baby.
You had a little baby one, didn't you?
Baby.
I think they were the nerve herders. I think that's what these were. But anyway, never was in the movie. It was just a test. But
pretty cool though.
It was exhausting.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of exclusive for the Comic Con here today. Yeah. Oh, and you said about being a fan of something. Annabelle was a massive fan of the dumping ground. I remember being obsessed with it. So the fact that you're now in it is a bit weird.
Yeah, it was weird. So I wrote an email to the old producers of the original show, asking if I could be in it, basically. But it went to the wrong person, and then I chickened out and I never sent it. And then like 4 years later, I got an audition. So
there's nothing to do with the letter, but it's a weird sort of...
But it was really weird. And I still got that email and I missed it. I can't believe you let me write that.
Why? What's it like?
It's like, hi, my name's Annabelle. I'm an actress. I think it would be great I think it would be great if I was in your show because of little people. Oh God, it went on. This lovely lady who ended up getting it was like, hi, I'm not the right person, but I wish you luck.
This other woman, did she even work for the BBC?
God knows, I have no
She's in the
idea.
canteen.
and then all these years later, then you got in it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Hello, I'm Warwick Davis, and you're listening to Fantha Tracks.
Let's see if there's any other questions from the audience.
Come on, you must be inspired by now or ask something. Yes, down here.
Hi, I'd just like to ask, I'm a huge Willow fan.
Thank you.
Yay!
One other, yep.
Oh yeah, so I've got nobody else. Well, what was your favourite part of filming Willow?
The favourite part of filming Willow? I think working with Ron Howard, certainly. He's still a good friend of mine, and he was just a great director. He used to be an actor, as you know, and he just knows how to work with actors on the set. He's very, very funny, very generous, just very giving with his direction. You know, he explains to you exactly what he needs from you. The travelling, I remember we went to New Zealand, and it was the first time for me that I travelled in first class. And so I was sitting there in the seat, getting comfortable, enjoying the extra legroom, and that was very important. I do need it. And I had these sunglasses on that I'd bought in the market near where I live, and they were Ray-Bans. They were all the fashion back in the 80s, and but they were like £5. And so when you put them on, you couldn't see through them. They were that bad, the lenses. But I looked like a movie star, so I thought. So I'm sitting there enjoying the kind of the atmosphere of the plane, and I don't know what that means even, but but thinking, Hollywood, here I come, you know, even though we're going to New Zealand. And then on steps Val Kilmer, you see, and I go, all right, and he says, he just stood and looked at me like that. So what's the matter? And he took the glasses off me and snapped them in half. And I was like, oh, thanks a lot, it cost me £5. And he said, and then he pulled out these other pair of Ray-Bans, 2 pairs, a black pair and a brown pair, and said, these are much cooler. And they were real. He just bought them in duty free.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he spot you at the airport and think that?
I did. They looked ridiculous.
That's amazing.
I know, and so they were real, and they had full UV protection, which was so he was very conscious of my eyeballs, because we were going to New Zealand. There's a lot of reflections and stuff. Anyway, so that was nice. But yeah, Willow was a great experience. Really good. Knowing Val, and I still keep in touch with him, and also, and it's lovely to be in a film like that all those years ago and still, you know, at least 2 people enjoy it.
Yeah, well, there's more than 2. Any other Willow fans? Give us a cheer for Willow.
Just say that. Do it some more. Go on. Thank you.
There's, and obviously you worked with Ron again briefly in the Solo movie.
Yeah, he came on to that. Yeah.
There's a moment in the Solo movie where you take off your helmet and reveal your face. And when I was watching it with my girlfriend, she just went, "Oh my God, it's Willow!"
Did she? Yeah, a lot of people do that. Yeah. Fun, But I had the long hair again, you see, and everything. It was it was like Willow would look. Yeah. Kind of, you know, beyond the end of the film when you do see him.
Are there any more potential discussions of a Willow 2?
You know, I mean, there's a lot of people out there would love to see another Willow. I'd enjoy doing it. I mean, we all had a blast on the first one. You know, and it would be great to do some more. I mean, but who knows? I don't know. Some things are best kind of left where they are, aren't they? Yeah. You know, because we remember them how they were. I mean, there's numerous kind of reboots out there that have just made a mess of it, and they kind of almost ruin your memory of something that was very cherished. It's like we watched Gremlins again the other day, didn't we? And what a brilliant film that is. And I'm thinking, I wonder why they haven't rebooted it or remade it. But then I don't think you could better it. No. Because it was the mastery of the puppetry and the kind of sleight of hand of, you know, a shot going over and then tilting up a little bit and then going down, and then the puppet obviously then was in the desk instead of it being in the hands, and all of that stuff. If you did it now with CG, I don't think it would be as clever and as the kind of the techniques dictated the style of the film in the end.
It's the limitations actually driving.
Exactly. So, you know, there are some things that are best left, and you know, Willow, it had some brilliant CG in it, some of the first use of CG, morphing. It had some puppetry, some Phil Tippett stop frame animation, some lovely matte paintings and all of that stuff. But you know, I'd love to revisit the character. You know, he's older, he's wiser. Is he a better sorcerer? You know, he's obviously better looking. But you know, what's been going on? You know, there's so much to explore. But who knows? I'll be up for it anyway.
Cool. How are we doing for time, by the way?
Oh, he's done to wrap it up.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for discussing.
That it. We can't. I think we need one last killer question.
Who's got a killer question?
The best one of the afternoon. That guy over there. He's always the last one. Don't let me down. Hang on a minute. Is that switched on? It's going well. This. I was building this up to a big finale.
Still time.
Got to keep the energy. Oh, it's running across. It's like Jeremy Kyle. Here we go.
I'd like to know what your experience first as an actor and first as a singer, and then as a producer of your Genius the Musical.
So what do I like doing best, you say?
What was your experience as a
What
writer?
was your experience of it? Which one did you enjoy doing best? And what sort of progression that went from going from being asked to
Gotcha.
songs out to being a producer on this?
I mean, I do a lot of things. I do try my hand at directing, and I do enjoy directing. I love doing that. Producing is a bit more stressful, as you mentioned, Eugenius. There's a lot more at stake when you do something like that in a London musical, and it's a bit scary. But that project was wonderful to work on, and it will continue in one form or another when we figure out which direction we're going in next with it. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, acting is my passion. That's where I started, and I love being on stage, stood on a chair in front of an audience, as I'm doing now, in front of a camera, whatever it is, the performance is what I love. And but yeah, directing, writing, it's all part of that creative process that is kind of what's behind acting, I suppose, at the end of the day. But it's important to understand how the whole thing works, I think, when you're an actor. Which I do, and I think as an actor you've got to have a plan B, and sort of the writing, the producing, the directing is stuff I can do if there wasn't any work, presenting or acting. So it's about being versatile. Like Annabelle here, she's a brilliant artist as well, so she's got a company and she sells art and stuff. I'm doing a promo for you.
Thank you.
I'm also a PR to Annabelle's art. You have a website, do you, Annabelle?
I do AnnabelleDavis.co.uk.
There
we go.
Makes a lovely range of pins as well for all of you ladies and gents who like a pin or two. She does makes them all herself, so it's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Very good. That's it.
Do you get a commission on?
I don't. No, I don't.
No.
I don't. I should put up with the headache of it all, but what it is what do you think of this? I'm to give you my opinion.
Well, yeah, I need a second opinion.
Yeah, what's your favourite pin? Are you wearing it now?
I am. It's the unicorn one.
The unicorn pin. She has unicorn pins. Who doesn't love a unicorn?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? And the rainbow.
The rainbow, yeah.
So the unicorn's going over the rainbow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's like a leprechaun pin, that one.
Now there's an idea.
There it is. That's the next one. But it's been a pleasure talking to you guys this afternoon, and I hope you have a brilliant time. Thanks for supporting this event, because it raises a huge amount of money for charity. It honestly does, and I have the greatest respect for the team behind it for putting it on and doing such a great job. Good to meet you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.